welcome to Truth or Politics. I'm your host, Darlene Price, and we want to say welcome to our Facebook viewers, our YouTube viewers, and to our MBRTV channel viewers tonight. And to our Pulaski County viewers, because this is going to broadcast live in Pulaski County as well. And the reason why is we're going to cover, this is a call-in show covering, we're going to do the Reader's Digest version of the 3-hour movie we did called Lake Cumberland, What Really Lies Beneath. But first, before we get started, we want to thank MBRTV. We want to thank our fans out there. What is that noise? We want to thank our fans. We got a noise in the background. Live TV. We want to thank our fans on Facebook and YouTube and everybody out there who makes it, and Michael Mann and Steve Hall and the folks behind the scene. Thank you so much for being here tonight. This is a call-in show. The number to call. Hey guys, there's a big noise out here.
I think it's feedback.
Is it feet? What is that noise? Live TV. Sorry, we got a noise. Sorry about that. Welcome to live TV. What is it?
It's just...
Is it going to shut up? Okay. We got the noise. It's not a mouse or anything. I thought it was a bat or something flying around. Okay, welcome to live TV. No, this will not be edited. This is a call-in show. We ask you to wait just a few minutes because we want to, for people who are new viewers tonight that don't know what this is about, we're going to kind of set this up. We did a news documentary called Lake Cumberland, What Really Lies Beneath. We started on this about 2 years ago, and basically what we discovered is the City of Somerset wastewater treatment plant had numerous multiple violations, at least from 2016 right through May 2021, violations for allowing E. coli to enter Pittman Creek that leaks into Lake Cumberland and then goes into Cumberland River, E. coli, suspended solids, and numerous other things. What we also found out is in late 2019, the mayor of Somerset signed a contract to bring into this defective treatment plant, and yes, it is defective, yes, it is getting violations all the way up to May 2021. So back in 2019, they signed a contract from 4 different industrial waste landfills to bring in what's called leachate. And so far, as of December 2021, it was close to 25 million gallons. By now, if you extrapolate out, if they're bringing in the same amount, it's close to 30 million gallons, between 25 and 30 million gallons of what's called leachate from 4 different industrial waste landfills. They're bringing it in and they've run it through this defective system. And the bottom line is, if things like suspended solids are getting through, if E. coli is getting through, and it is getting through despite what the mayor says, then things like C8, these are the PFOAs, this stuff is highly carcinogenic, it's really bad stuff, hexavalent chromium, all this stuff that's normally found in landfills, asbestos, if these are smaller, measured in smaller measures, parts per trillion, as opposed to parts per million, which is E. coli. If E. coli and this stuff's getting through, then the stuff from this landfill is getting through this system as well. We found out that they're not doing any testing at all for what's called C8, that's your PFOAs, they're called fluorocarbons. They're also called forever chemicals because they do not break down. They're horrible. They're doing very little testing for C6, and part of it is the state of Kentucky Water District, Frankfurt, you know, the lawmakers and the lovely people, and I say that sarcastically, in Frankfurt, are not requiring the type of testing that needs to be done, especially through this municipality. They have coughed up 0 tests, and I've asked for them for what's called C8, these fluorocarbons. The other thing that we show in this video, and please go to YouTube or to MBRTV's YouTube channel and pull it up. It's called Lake Cumberland, What Really Lies Beneath. Here it is, folks. We had over 1,000 documents that prove up this case and everything I'm saying. These documents came from the state of Kentucky, Frankfurt. They came from the city of Somerset, and they just proved this up. So, and I've done kind of a battle with the mayor of Somerset, back and forth through Commonwealth Journal and in person. One of the things he keeps putting out here, he keeps trying to make the citizens of Somerset believe, oh, nothing to see here, everything's fine. But he also turns around and he's committed to this in writing. But I need $10 million with interest because he's putting them in debt. I think $7 million of that he's putting them in debt to fix my wastewater treatment plant. So, you can't have it both ways. You can't say, no, we're not in violation, nothing's getting through, but give me $10 million, the people of Somerset, with interest, so I can fix what supposedly ain't broken. That's basically what this is about. You will know more if you go and actually see part 1 and part 2. Part 2 is all the documents. And I know documents are boring, but those documents really tell a story of what happened. And the first part's more the human part. We go on location and we interview people. There's a lot of people on Sinking Creek that bleeds into Pittman Creek, that bleeds into Lake Cumberland, and there's a lot of people that have come up to me. They're sick, and there's a lot. We had overwhelming people contact me via Facebook, private message, email, phone calls, that they believe that they're getting sick from this. So, I don't know. We had a meeting last Friday in Somerset at the Somerset Library, kind of a community forum, and we had some people show up. We actually had a couple of people from the city council show up, and one of them flat out said, they weren't told this. This information was kept from them. The only thing that was told to the city council, and this is, by the way, documented by the Commonwealth Journal, was, we're going to bring in some leachate, we're going to make a couple $100,000 a year, it's safe, and they said landfill. And no time did they disclose the following fact: they're bringing in from 4 different industrial waste landfills. These industrial waste landfills accept the worst of the worst. That's demolition waste, asbestos. They're notorious for having hexavalent chromium, these C6 through C8, these fluorocarbons. All this is carcinogenic. And their system up there, the wastewater treatment plant, despite what the mayor says, is defective. Stuff is getting through. We have the documents to prove that up. So that's what the call-in show is about tonight. That's kind of Reader Digest version of 2 years of work and 1,000 documents. And believe me, in the documentary, we only cover 117, but in that 117 documents, I think you said that we put them on trial, kind of, so to speak. So, but we will start accepting phone calls now. We're at 606-376-5000. 606-376-5000. Here is a free long distance number. 606-372-0002. For you Pulaski County folks or people around out of the area. Again, this is a free long distance phone call. 606-372-0002. You can call in. So that's what we're talking about tonight. I wish more people could have shown up last Friday at the public forum, but there was a nice little crowd there, and they were concerned, as they should be. And they asked some really, really, really good questions about this leachate, what's in it. How we got onto this is when we launched Pulaski County Truth or Politics, we had a citizens meeting. There's an organization up there, I forget the name of it. Apologize because I know you guys are watching tonight. Citizens for a More Ethical Government or something like that. Citizens that are concerned, and I can't remember the official name. I'm terrible with names. But anyways, so we had a little group of people show up, and after the meeting, some little guy came up to me, and he told me this story, that they were bringing in toxic waste and running it through a defective waste treatment plant, and it's ended up going right into Lake Pittman, or Pittman Creek. And at first, I didn't believe it. It just seemed, I'm like, this guy's nuts. He's got to be nuts. I really, honestly, and if you're watching that tonight, I'm sorry, but it's just, the story sounded so unbelievable. No way. The state of Kentucky Water District will be all over them. No way anybody could get away with this. No way. But also at that meeting was an individual, and I'm going to try to dance around he would know. He's one of the insiders. He would know. And he authenticated the story and told us how to authenticate it. And so we actually followed, and we filmed this, some of the 18-wheelers from the actual landfills to the wastewater treatment plant in Pulaski County. Subsequent to that, I hit the state of Kentucky with open records request. And I will say this is the only thing Frankfurt did right. The state of Kentucky Water District and the state EPA pretty quick coughed up documents, and a lot of these are from them. So, the appearance is they weren't trying to hide anything. But what is in these documents over and over again is, and I want to read something to you here real quick, is some of the violations. And what the violations, they tell them about the violations. This is real important because even though Kentucky lawmakers and Kentucky Water District and this governor, which I'm not a fan of, full disclosure here, even though they haven't done crap to protect the citizens from these PFOAs, these deadly chemicals, by making a specific law for that, they can't get around this. I'm going to read this to you all. This says, violation description. Every time that the state of Kentucky issued a notice of violation to the city of Somerset wastewater treatment plant, on every violation it says this: no person shall, directly or indirectly, throw, drain, run, or otherwise discharge into any of the waters of the Commonwealth, or cause, permit, or suffer to be thrown, drain, or run, otherwise discharge into such waters any pollutant. Any pollutant means any pollutant, okay? Or any substance that shall cause or contribute to the pollution of the waters of the Commonwealth in contravention of the standards adopted by the Cabinet, or in contravention of any rules, regulation, permits, or orders of the Cabinet, in contravention of any provision of this chapter. That is KRS 224.70-110. In other words, you go out on your houseboat, killed an ant. You go out on your houseboat, it's gross, it's like sticking with live TV, don't you just love it. You go out on your houseboat in Lake Cumberland, and you take a bunch of garbage, and if the water rangers catch you throwing your garbage, or, any type of garbage, you get caught littering on the Lake Cumberland or the Cumberland River, they're going to get you, okay? They're going to fine you into oblivion, okay? But yet, repeatedly, over and over again, almost on a monthly basis for 5 years or more, the state of Kentucky kept issuing these violations, and this is what each violation says, too. Every violation said this. Violations of the above cited statute and or regulations are subject to a civil penalty per day, per violation, up to $25,000 per violation. So in other words, every time they issued them a violation, they could have been fining the city of Somerset $25,000. Guess how many fines from and I just went back to 2016. I'm almost afraid to go back before 2016. Guess how many violations from 2016 to 2021 the state of Kentucky and the state EPA issued the city of Somerset? Go ahead, yes.
Zero.
Zero. Zero. No violations. So, to say, I am very comfortable saying that the state of Kentucky, your lawmakers, your people, your public officials that are in charge of keeping you safe have done nothing but turn a blind eye to what's going on up there in Somerset. Absolutely. They turned a blind eye to it. I don't know how else to put it. I could use harsher words, but I'm very comfortable. Go ahead.
Do you have handy, let's put the shoe on the other foot, what water treatment plant, what they told the people who was bringing the stuff? Do you have one of those, the warnings? Like they said, like if you spill any of this, bringing it in.
What do you mean, like on the permits or something? I'm not understanding what you're...
Right.
Well, okay, here's the other thing. Good point. I get where you're going there. here's something that's real important too, and I'm going to lead into your point here. To be able to accept industrial waste at these landfills, you have to have what's called an industrial waste permit. Now, in order to get an industrial waste permit, you have to jump through all kinds of hoops with the federal EPA and state EPA. By the way, 2 of these landfills are in Tennessee. So in other words, they're bringing in thousands of gallons of waste from Tennessee and running it through this treatment plant in Somerset into Lake Cumberland. Okay, so all 4 of these landfills have industrial waste permits. I know because I got copies of them. Go to Lake Cumberland, what really lies beneath, and you can see them for yourself, okay? So, if you're an 18-wheeler truck that's going to haul this toxic waste from the landfill to the City of Somerset Waste Treatment Plant, guess what kind of permit you have to have? Go ahead, guess. Industrial waste. Because that's common sense, right? Now, guess what kind of permit the City of Somerset has to accept this industrial toxic waste into their defective treatment plant? Go ahead. Guess away.
None.
They have a permit. Okay. It is not an industrial waste permit. It is a general, close though. It is a general permit and it's 12 years old. They have never asked for or received permission or got in any way, shape, or form an industrial waste permit. I'm going to wager a guess as to why. Probably because they knew that their treatment plant was so defective that if they applied for an industrial waste permit, they could not pass through all the hoops that the federal and state government, well, Frankfurt probably just gave it to them because, you know, this is what they've done so far. Frankfurt would just give it to them. No inspection, no anything. But I got a feeling that one of the reasons they didn't do this is because perhaps the federal EPA would say, no, you've got all these violations. We're not giving you an industrial waste permit. So without an industrial waste permit, they have been accepting industrial waste and putting it through this highly defective machine up there. Now, your question is, what would happen to one of these 18-wheelers if they spilled it? Well, that's a good question. They would be written up. They'd probably lose their permit. I don't know for sure. You can bet the federal EPA, the state of Kentucky, would have been all over them. Poor truck driver does something, you're going to get it. But apparently the city of Somerset can just run all kinds of toxic waste right through right through their treatment plant, and nobody cares. State of Kentucky doesn't care. Nobody's protecting you guys. And one of the things that we showed on the show, and I wanted to see if I can find it real quick here, if I can flip through here and find it. We did get some one testing back from the state of Kentucky, and I found this is what the only testing that they came back from the state of Kentucky, and I hope you can see this on camera. It's all redacted. You know what? These are official. This is from chain of custody from the testing unit, which is testing report 2, Somerset, City of Somerset. This is from, I'm trying to see who this is from, McCoy Laboratories. They're the ones that came and did the biochemical testing of this leachate. And every page looks like this. This is the only testing we got. After we asked for 2016 till now, any and all documents means any and all documents. This is the crap they coughed up. I hope you guys can see that. Okay, and that's we also show that and talk about it on our Lake Cumberland, What Really Lies Beneath. We don't know what this is supposed to say. It could be that the chemicals that we're worried about it is in there and it's getting through. We don't know. They're not telling us. In fact, to me, this looks like a cover-up. I mean, there's no reason for these things to be redacted. Your taxpayers' money paid for McCoy Laboratories to test this, do these tests. Your tax dollars pay for this. These are your documents. It is bullcrap. Here you go. Every page of this testing is redacted. Every doggone page. There's another one. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, and the question is, what are they covering up here? Sample analysis requested. Sample description. You know, what is the results? Okay? We don't know. So, the thing that, Mayor Keck keeps going to the Commonwealth Journal and saying, we are testing. We test and we meet state standards. Well, no you're not. He has not coughed up one single document showing that they're testing for these PFOAs. That's C8. These are these fluorocarbons, they call them forever chemicals for a reason. They do not break down. They're highly carcinogenic. They have not produced one test for these fluorocarbons, not one. The tests that they produce are redacted. And I keep challenging, where's the documents? You keep saying this, show and tell, baby, show and tell, cough up the documents, and of course you can't do that. Here's the other thing. Not only are they bringing leachate in, they have contracted with the hospitals up there, the cancer center. They're bringing in all of their waste, TTAI, which I have confirmed from insiders that TTAI, which a lot of auto parts use this, okay, what's called C8, this fluorocarbons on their auto parts. So all their waste from these industries, and I think there's 6 or 9 of them, we cover them in detail. We have their permits. It says on their permits, the Cancer Center, Lake Cumberland, Oakwood, what is in their waste. And it is deadly. I mean, it just is. And you could go see these permits for yourself. Go to Lake Cumberland, What Really Lies Beneath on YouTube, and look at these documents. You can see the permits. Michael Mann did a great job posting them right up there. And if E. coli is getting through, then this other stuff's getting through as well. It's just amazing to me that Frankfurt has pretty much done nothing all the way up to 2021. And, these documents prove this up. It's just not good. Not good, not good. And we can accept callers, you guys. We're waiting for you to call in. I thought we'd be inundated with calls. Go ahead.
Well, one of the things to kind of clarify what a wastewater treatment plant does,
Okay.
Is to clean the sewage and stuff up, and then once they cleaned it, to put it back into the water. And in the video, it appears like that their discharge is within eyesight of where they take the water in for the water treatment plant. But I was kind of unsure whether they was upstream or downstream. It empties downstream.
Here's the other concern. I can't believe I blanked on that. I've given so many talks about this that sometimes you just miss things, and thank you, because that's important. One of the other concerns about this, and we show this on the video, is what's called effluent. Effluent is after this has been so-called treated, okay, through their wastewater treatment plant. All this leachate, all the waste from these places and everything, it goes through this defective treatment plant. Then it goes, the effluent, that's what comes out, goes into Pittman Creek. Okay, where the effluent goes into Pittman Creek, guess what is downstream less than a mile from the effluent from this defective treatment plant? Guess, Michael Mann, just guess.
The water treatment plant intake.
The drinking water.
Water treatment plant.
Right. The drinking water intake for Pulaski County drinking water is downstream less than a mile from the effluent of the wastewater treatment plant. That's right. It is. That blew my mind too. I didn't believe it. I literally made, some of our insiders and our cameraman took me to the Waitsboro dock there in Pulaski County, because I'm like, nah, nobody's that stupid to put, to take water less than a mile away from a defective treatment plant that's dumping God knows what. At least we know E. coli, we know suspended solids, God knows what else from these things is downstream, that's right, downstream from this defective treatment plant, and that's where the water outtake. Now, is the drinking water outtake testing for these PFOAs. They have not coughed up one single document showing that they're testing the drinking water for these PFOAs. Now, if you go to our little documentary, Lake Cumberland, What Really Lies Beneath, Part 1, at the end of Part 1, I interview our drinking water guy here in McCrary County. In McCrary County, first off, our outtake for McCrary County's drinking water is way upstream from the Pittman Creek effluent, okay? So we're not going to get any of that, number one. Number two, our drinking water dudes over here in McCrary County, they've been concerned about this for a while. Even though the state of Kentucky's not directing them specifically to test for C8, these fluorocarbons, they do. They are going above and beyond the call of duty to protect its citizens. Now, 2 Fridays ago, I had a face-to-face with the mayor. And one of the things he said, well, what do you want us to do? And I said, test. Start testing. Stop. It's so simple. Stop bringing in this effluent until you get your system fixed. Number 2, start testing for these PFOAs. And he said, and we had witnesses, in fact, there was a whole table full of people sitting there listening to this, and I had witnesses, we had a camera crew up there. And, he said, well, if I consider that, I said, dude, if you do that, I will do for you what I did for our guy, our water guy. You can come on the show and say, hey, I considered it, and I stopped bringing in the leachate, and I'm gonna make sure that the drinking water and Pittman Creek is tested for these PFOAs. And I told him, if you do that, we'll hold a press conference. I'll thank you, and I'll be off on my merry way to Part 4 and 5 of Lake Cumberland, What Lies Beneath, Part 4 and 5. Because believe me, we got more coming.
With the happier ending.
Yeah, with the happier ending. So that was 2 Fridays ago, or 3 Fridays ago, I forget. It's been a while. And since then, his attitude was to double down and basically go to the Commonwealth Journal. And I got to say, the Somerset Commonwealth Journal did a feature article on this, and I thought they were very fair. They gave us equal access to what our argument is, and they put his argument first. But one of the things that Mayor Keck does is he does the oldest trick in the book, the old bait and switch. Every time they ask him a question, he will only talk about C6. That's hexavalent chromium. Yes, the state of Kentucky requires tests for that. Yes, they are meeting the state standards for that. The problem is the state standards suck. I think it's once a year, a yearly test. Okay, how many people here watch Aaron Brockovich? Raise your hand. Okay, if you haven't, go watch it. Hexavalent chromium is deadly. That's C6. And we're not even, the state of Kentucky is requiring, minimal, lax testing for that, for these municipalities in the lakes. They're requiring no testing for C8. C8 is the DuPont nightmare that was created for military purposes and this and that. And DuPont was sued in almost to oblivion over C8 in West Virginia when they poisoned all the lakes, the streams of West Virginia. So go ahead.
Now you're still talking about testing drinking water.
I'm talking drinking water. They need to test the drinking water, and they also need, for C8, they need to be testing Pittman Creek, because even though, let's say tomorrow, they start testing for C8 in the drinking water, how many people boat, swim, boogie board in Lake Cumberland and Pittman Creek? Okay, wow. I don't know about you, but I bought water ski before, and I'm sorry, it goes up your nose, goes in your mouth. Kids get out there and swim, they're drinking it, they get it in their ears, okay? Whatever's in Pittman Creek and Lake Cumberland, you're going to have it in you, okay? That's the problem. So they also need to start testing Pittman Creek and Lake Cumberland with this. Now, I posted three, and I said this last week at the little public forum up there. There have been 3 separate research organizations that I had nothing to do with. Let me repeat this. I had nothing to do with this. Some of these happened before we even broke our story, okay? One of them, and you can Google this yourself, one of them says 67% of all lakes, rivers, and streams in Kentucky, and when this article was posted, they posted a picture of Cumberland Falls on this. I didn't do this, people. They did. And that research, an independent company came in and said 67% of all lakes, rivers, and streams in Kentucky were contaminated with these PFOAs. That's C8, which is deadly. It's carcinogenic, okay? Another one did drinking water tests in Kentucky. A lot of it was around Louisville, but they just went into people's houses. Over 90% of the drinking water in Kentucky where they tested is also contaminated with C8. Folks, this is, and there was a third one. I forget what the percentage was on the third one. These are independent researchers that are showing more concern about our drinking water, our lakes, rivers, and streams in Kentucky than your elected officials in Kentucky. I mean, this is appalling, and they can't plead ignorance. You know, if you're the head of a wastewater treatment plant and you don't know what C8 is, which, by the way, when we interviewed the one up here in Somerset, she didn't know. If you are the head of, you know, the state wastewater treatment, you know, the state of Kentucky Water District, and you're saying, no, we're not testing, and no, we're not going to test, which she committed to in an email. Her name was Diana Robertson, and we posted that email. If you go to Lake Cumberland, What Really Lies Beneath, Part 2, you'll see that email. That's appalling. That is appalling that your tax dollars, millions and millions of dollars of your tax dollars, pay for a state of Kentucky EPA and a state of Kentucky Water District, and they're doing nothing to protect you people from getting contaminated from this stuff. Now, how deadly is it? Well, in 3 separate lawsuits, it was declared in all 3, and keep in mind, this law firm was going up with their complainants against big money. There ain't no bigger money than DuPont, okay? And DuPont was fighting these lawsuits over in West Virginia. DuPont set the standard. It was established in all 3 lawsuits, which DuPont lost millions and millions of dollars, all 3 lawsuits in a row. Then they just settled out billions with a B of dollars to the complainants because this stuff is that toxic. But what was established in these lawsuits was this stuff is so deadly. It's measured in parts per trillion with a T. Parts per trillion. 7 parts per trillion. What does that mean? That is the equivalent to 7 grains of sand in an Olympic-sized swimming pool. That's what it's. Anything more is deadly. This was found by 3 separate juries and established in the court, and then DuPont accepted that when they agreed to settle the case. That was part of the settlement. So one of the things that Diana Robertson said is there's no standards. Yes, there is. It was set by DuPont, and those standards are listed on the federal EPA's website for anybody to go see. So the arguments that that they keep trying to make to want to not protect people is just they're horrible arguments. And for the city of, and let me just, I know it sounds like I'm just picking on the city of Somerset. The problem here, folks, is this. The city of Somerset is a symptom of a much larger problem. You can bet the state of Kentucky, the state water district, and the state EPA, your people in Frankfurt, this is not the only municipality getting away with this. This is not the only corporation, big money corporation, that does big money donations to candidates who are running for office, who've never made a law to do this, even though there's a KRS statute that says pretty much you can't do this, okay? It's appalling that they think they have to have a specific law telling them to protect their citizens from something this deadly, And I don't understand how they're getting around this state law, this KRS statute that says you will not put any contaminant into the lakes, rivers, or streams. If you do, we can fine you $25,000 a day. Well, the problem is this is happening statewide in Kentucky. That's why these researchers came in here, is because it is a problem. So even if tomorrow Mayor Keck and the City Council decides, okay, we're going to cave to pressure, we're going to stop bringing this in, and we're going to start testing. Oh, that's nice. Here's the problem. If you go to Russell Springs and sit down in a restaurant, what are you drinking there? Are they operating under the low standards of the state of Kentucky for their drinking water? You don't know. Same thing, go over in Western Kentucky. We don't know. I do know that there are Many municipalities in Kentucky, and thank God, Whitley City or McCurry County is one of them, Paducah's one of them, they are testing. Nobody had to tell them to protect their citizens. They're testing for these PFOAs and CA. Many states have passed laws. The state of Kentucky has not a specific law. That's for you guys to be leaning on your state reps, your state lawmakers, your state senators to do this. So that's kind of where we're at on this. We're going to also post this, little, public forum we did on Friday. Michael Mann's going to, here, before I forget, is going to post that too, because I answer a lot of questions. There was some really, really good questions in that public forum too. So this is a call-in show, folks. I'm surprised we haven't gotten inundated with phone calls so far. If you got a question, Michael Mann, go ahead.
Well, I'd kind of like to make a statement.
Okay.
The McCrory County Water District, I have been around them for several years. And I know in one of their testing facilities, they had me install security cameras so that they could watch and monitor their employees, because they test multiple times a day. And they are extremely strict and very proud of the product that they put out. And, and I just wanted to state that they're really good at what they do.
Yeah, and they were very, very transparent. I didn't have any problems with them, coughing up doc. They were extremely, they worked with us really well, and were transparent. Unlike the city of Somerset, which was like, this would have been done, we would have had this done 8 months earlier if it wasn't for the city attorney of Somerset. And I'm throwing him under the bus, and I do it in the video too. I'm very comfortable saying he jerked us around for at least 6 months. We had to go to the Attorney General's office, and I wrote a letter and did a bunch of these documents from the state and said, look, here's our concern, and this is what I need. And it was very clear that I was asking about leachate. We had a meeting with him right after, a couple weeks after we hit him with open records request. In that meeting, myself and Dan Gibson, Truth or Politics, told Mr. Adams, I want to know how many landfills you're bringing in from, what it is, the word leachate, too many times, and then email, which we hit. We show you this jerking around of us for 6-8 months, whatever, and these emails that went back and forth. And then finally, I went to the Attorney General's office, and thank you to our Attorney General, who almost immediately assigned an Assistant Attorney General to this case, and right after that, magically, we got the documents. And it wasn't right after that. We still had to meet with, the person. Anyway, that was not transparent at all. And then they cough up the documents they did cough up with the test. You can see them for yourself. They're redacted.
But he responded like he didn't know what you wanted.
Oh yeah. The last email, he said that he sent an email back, which the Assistant Attorney General covered me on these emails, and I'm sure he didn't expect that. This is after 6 months of leachate. We want gallons. We want to know this. It was very clear to even the dumbest lawyer on earth would know what we are asking for. He knew what we were asking for. But do you know what he emailed back to the Assistant Attorney General? I'm not sure what she's asking for. Something about leachate, It's like, that really irked me. That wasn't cool. That was not cool. So, rightfully so, we threw him under the bus in our documentary with the documents, and we got the documents to show that too. So, anywho, that's kind of where it's at. We are following up on this. Since this has happened and since this has been broadcast, we have a lot more information coming in. We're in the process of validating this information. Once we get it validated, once we get it verified, you'll see it too immediately. And some of this information that we're getting is just jaw-dropping, and we'll see what happens. Stay tuned. That's all I gotta say. It is not good. It is not good. And like most stories, most investigations, when you start an investigation, and especially when you're going on scene and filming, people see you filming and you show up and you interview people, that develops more information. So we're working on a second story. It's another Lake Cumberland story. It's not the city of Somerset, so all the people in the city of Somerset relax. But anybody who boats and swims and boogie boards in Lake Cumberland, it ain't good. So we're in the process of verifying. I got 2 boxes of documents, legal size boxes of documents that I'm still going through. And so far, not good. So Michael Mann, we're gonna have to do part 3, part 4, and poor Michael Mann, he doesn't want to work on the editing on this. It's gonna be not good. I'll tell you this, what disturbed me about this, and one of the reasons I got involved in this, is when I started getting these documents from the state of Kentucky showing how much E. coli is going into Pittman Creek, and the nitrogen levels being way off, and all these levels being off over and over again. And some of them, I think one of the E. coli levels was like just under 10 times the allowable amount for E. coli. And we had an expert come in and look at it, and what he said was, and his jaw dropped, he said, Pittman Creek should have been shut down. Notices should have went out to the public. None of this was done. No one ever contacted the regional health department either. I hit the regional health department up with open records requests, because I'm thinking, surely somebody, before you brought in all this toxic waste, didn't you think to go to the health department and ask, what is in these landfills? Should we bring this in, Or any notices to the public or to the health department about, what's going into Pittman Creek? Nothing. The health department has 0 documents where anybody ever notified them. And the state of Kentucky, the state EPA, the city of Somerset, they could not cough up 1 notice to the public. The only notice that ever hit the public about this leachate was at a city council meeting, I think it was in 2018. And all that was said is, oh, hey, and it was buried on like page 4 of the Commonwealth Journal. The headline didn't even mention the word leachate. I think the headline was, we post this too. You'll see this on the documentary, Lake Cumberland, What Really Lies Beneath Part 2. It says, your sewer rates are going up. And then buried on page 4, it says, it covers, hey, Mayor Keck says that, well, we're going to make money that's going to help us fix our treatment plant. We're going to make $200,000 a year by bringing in this stuff called leachate from a landfill. And, they led people to believe that it was safe. Nope, nothing to see here. No big deal. Here's what they did not tell the public. And that's not the Commonwealth Journal's fault. They were told. What they did not tell the public was 4 different landfills, industrial waste landfills, how many gallons, at this point, probably between 25 and 30 million gallons of this stuff. They mentioned too, we had some violations. No, it wasn't some violations. It was a lot of violations all the way up to 2021. None of that was mentioned. The public was not aware. In fact, Friday, at the public forum that we had in Somerset, one of the city council members said, they didn't tell us any of this. And he said, I wouldn't have, he either said he voted against it, or they would not have allowed that to happen had they known the information that they now have from Truth or Politics. They wouldn't have gone for it. So, go ahead.
Well, does the city council have the power to stop it?
I would think that the city council could vote, and city of Somerset, so you council members watching right now, could overrule Mayor Keck and say, stop this. And to the city council members up there, please, 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 is it worth $200,000 a year to put your citizens at risk for these PFOAs? And folks, when I first started this, I didn't know what a PFOA was. I didn't know what C8 was. Y'all don't know me. I could just be some nut making this up. You don't know me, right? Do your homework. Pull your devices out right now. Pull your cell phones out. Google PFOA and then put a space. PFO and then put a space. C8. Start reading what C8 is and ask yourself this. Do I want to swim in C8? Do I want to drink C8? The answer should be no, no. You know, it's deadly. So, did you have another question? So, that's just, to the city council members up there in Somerset, do the right thing. Go above and beyond the call of duty of what the useless piece of garbage state of Kentucky Water District and state EPA, the morons in Frankfurt who are putting commercial interest ahead of public interest and public safety. Be better. Be better than that. City council members, you meet Monday. You have an opportunity to set things right. Stop bringing this in for $200,000 a year. Stop bringing it in. Order the city of Somerset. Get with the Pulaski County government. Start testing. No wait around. Surely it don't cost that much to have an independent company come in here and test. You know, get her done. You know, do it. And, you know, for people, there's been a lot of people contact me saying they're sick. And that doesn't surprise me. Now, I have no idea if their sicknesses are related to C8, but we had some people Friday come up to me, and the people on Sinking Creek who have been directly affected by this. There are types of cancers, if you look at C8 and what C8 causes, these forever chemicals, the type of cancers, they have these type of cancers. Now, what you can do is go get your blood tested. If you have high levels of C8 in your blood and you have these cancers, you know, I'd be contacting a lawyer. That's what I would be doing. So that's what's going on. How are we doing on time, guys?
13 minutes.
13 minutes. All right. Well, we got 13 minets left. People are afraid to call in. Oh my gosh, this is unusual. So, anywho, I'm trying to think of what else we can talk about. That's kind of Reader's Digest version, what this is about. Please, again, go to on MBRTV, our television show, has their own station, MBRTV. They have posted it also on Facebook and also on YouTube. It's called Lake Cumberland, What Really Lies Beneath. You can see these documents for yourself and see that we have proven up this in a big way. Go ahead.
Now, didn't you state that you didn't have any tests from the water treatment, the intake water treatment?
Right, no, none. They are not testing for C8. If they are, cough up the test. I've said it like for a month now. Okay, back when we went with the mayor, you know, we've had face-to-face with the mayor. Well, how do you know they're not testing? I said, because I've asked them for tests, they coughed it up. He goes, well, you know, I said, you got a test? Cough it up. And that's what I said to the paper, and I think the paper even quoted me. If you have tests, if you're doing testing for C8, cough it up. Where are the tests for this? Well, it's been what, a month or more since we broadcast this, and you know, 2 weeks since I had a face-to-face with the mayor. Nobody's coughed up one thing. Here's the thing, folks. If they were testing for this, they would have broke their necks running to the Commonwealth Journal. Here, she's crazy. Look, here it is. Here's our testing for C8. Post it. They would have been on every Facebook page. The city of Somerset. I went and countered the mayor. Fact. I countered the mayor right on the city of Somerset's page. Had he had a test for C8, they would have been posting it. Here it is. She's crazy. We've tested. There's no CF8. That should tell you everything you need to know. If they had the test and the documents to prove that, you know, they're testing for it, it's been over a month now. It's been, what, 6 weeks since we posted the movie? It's been 2 or 3 weeks since I talked to the mayor. It's been 2 weeks since the Commonwealth Journal did a really good article about this. You know, a front page article. Wouldn't you think they would cough up a test? Okay. Truth or politics, what's your comment or question?
Hi, my comment is, Darlene, you give us so much information. You answer our questions before we need to call in.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. All we need now is a solution to purify our water and be safe.
Well, thank you, caller. Anything else?
Awesome. That's it.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry I give too much information, but thank you, caller. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, my question is, well, whenever they're treating the drinking water, there is a process
Right.
that they go to treating it, you know, to try to make it clean at the tap.
Right.
Now, have you checked the water treatment plant, not the wastewater treatment plant, but the water treatment plant of this water that's being brought in? Have you have you checked them for violations? Have you done any records requests to them?
No, for the drinking water in Pulaski County, no, I have not, and I probably need to do that. I have not hit them with violations from the state of Kentucky. I have not, but what I did ask them for was any and all documents showing your testing for these heavy metals, these fluorocarbons. To date, they have coughed up 0 documents. And honestly, I think they're not testing for C8. If they were, you know, after articles and conversations and a movie out and everything else, if they had it, they would have been producing it to put everybody at ease. They're not. They haven't produced anything.
Well, I mean, if the wastewater treatment plant has this many violations.
Right. What's the drinking water have?
Yeah.
I'm almost afraid to ask. What I did do, that's bad English, is I hit the state, oh, by the way, before we posted our documentary, a week before we posted our documentary, I sent a letter outlining our findings to the State Water District and the State EPA, telling them, we're posting this. We're running a movie about this, our documentary. We're going to throw you under, basically telling them we're throwing you under the bus, and yes, I'm going to use your email too. Would you like to respond? That was, what, 2 months ago? Almost 2 months ago. We have yet to have any response from the State of Kentucky Water District or the State EPA. No response. That shows how little they care about your lakes, waters, and streams in Kentucky, your state water district. They have refused to comment or respond in any way to our documentary. So I hit them up with another open records request. And you're right. I will do that. I will hit the drinking water people up with violations. I didn't think about that. On March 28th, I hit them up with another open records request because all these documents we got were from 2016 to May 2021. Well, now we're sitting in a year later. A year has gone by since these documents. So I hit them up again from May 2021 to present. What have you got since May 21 to present? And the State Water District said that they are getting their records together. But this was March 28th, and now it's May. Let me repeat that. They got this on March 28th, it's May 2nd, and they still haven't coughed up the documents. So, you know, we await their answer. If there's any more violations from May 2021 to current in 2022. So, going to be interesting to see what they cough up. They are supposed to be able to cough this stuff up in 10 days. Again, March 28th, 2022, and now it's May 2nd, 2022, and they haven't coughed up any documents yet. So, one of the things we also did is I put on a thumb drive all of this evidence, all of our open records requests, and our little documentary, which is not little, it's long, I know, and I apologize. People say, why did you make this documentary so long? Because when you're making an extraordinary accusation, you have to have extraordinary proof. And I wanted to show people that we have extraordinary proof to what we're accusing the state of Kentucky of and city of Somerset. And it's like Prego, it's in here. I boxed all that up or downloaded it onto what's called a thumb drive and sent it to the federal EPA on 4/19/2022. So the federal EPA has all of this, and we'll see if the feds will come in and maybe do something because, you know, they can say there's no specific law for C8 all they want, but it's real clear that C8's deadly, it's real clear that it's toxic waste, and it's real clear that we have a Kentucky revised statute saying you won't poison the lakes. So I don't know how they're getting around that statute. My next thing is I'm going to do too is as soon as I get these next documents from the state of Kentucky, I'm going to meet with the Attorney General's office. And I'm going to see if the Attorney General can open up a real investigation because he's got subpoena power that I don't have. and do a real investigation into this, because I think that it's worthy of an investigation, plus some of the other things that we've dug up that we're in the process of verifying. If we do, it's way worse. So that's kind of where we are. How much time, dude?
5 minutes.
5 minutes. You better have a call. You only got 5 minutes, 5 more minutes. So, well, thank you, caller, for letting me be so thorough that, you know. Anyways, by the way, the city of Somerset has their city council meeting Monday. I've been asked to appear at that. I'm not sure I'm going to. We'll see. I'm going to try to get on. There are citizens, you have to call ahead of time or something. There's some kind of process to get up there and ask questions, because I have some questions that I want to fire at the city council and to Mayor Keck. And you won't want to miss that. And MBRTV will be filming if they let us in the film. I don't see why not. If they let, the other media in, they should let us in too. So we'll see what happens on Monday. Y'all remembered our regular watchers when I went in front of the school board. And they sick 3 state troopers, and because I asked a couple questions that the notice I said former superintendent and former board members did not want to ask, so they sick the cops on me. So we'll see. It should be interesting. Whatever happens, we'll be filming and we'll get it on tape, whatever happens, and we will post it thereafter. It won't be live because he's got to come back here and do a disc, and then we'll give it to Michael Mann. And
I can't remember. I'm sorry, I didn't know.
No, go ahead.
I can't remember what the quote was. Something about 2 minutes.
Oh yeah, your 2 minutes are up. And so, but for those members who said my 2 minutes are up, they are no longer with us. I mean, they're alive, but they're no longer in those positions. So, whose 2 minutes were up? I don't know. So, just saying. Anyways, to my killer bees out there. Okay, we're wrapping it up here. Okay, we're wrapping it up here, folks. Before we go, we want to thank everybody behind the scenes. Again, we want to thank MBRTV for filming this, and for MBRTV and filming the community meeting last Friday, and they're going to come up and film at the city council meeting. I will be appearing, I'm going to try, unless they tell me I can't, in front of the city council meeting to fire some questions next Monday. That'll be interesting. Also, we have been covering the debate series since January. We've been on every Thursday covering all the debates in McCreary County since January. If you have missed some of those debates, you can either scroll down on our Truth or Politics page or go to our Truth or Politics YouTube page. Every one of those debates is posted there. So if you missed a debate, the election's coming up. I think May 17th is the election, a primary election this year. Please vote. Go and watch these debates, and pick the best candidate, hopefully, for the job. We're going to take a break after next Monday. We're going to take a break for a while because we've been going at it hot and heavy since January, every Thursday, and also covering Truth or Politics Pulaski County for a while. And we put forward this documentary. Please go watch it. It's called Lake Cumberland: What Really Lies Beneath. And you'll see all these documents, and you'll see interviews of people who are sick. You'll see interviews of people, we actually filmed on location. So please go watch that. But we're going to take a break after that, and we're going to be off for at least a month because we need a break. And then Truth or Politics will be back hard at it. Unless we have some kind of breaking story that happens, then we won't let that go. We will come back. But we're going to take a break for a couple of weeks at least. And we thank you all. Thank you for our caller. Folks, thank you, Pulaski County, for watching. Thank you for everybody on Facebook. Thank you for MBRTV and our Truth or Politics podcast in Louisville. Thank everybody. And we will see you next time on Truth or Politics. Thanks.